Well, happy Women's History Month and Goddess Blessings. This is Selena Fox, and I am coming to you live from my home in southwestern Wisconsin, USA. If you are celebrating Women's History Month in one or more ways, I invite you to share one of the ways that you'll be celebrating or have been celebrating in our chat. And once this is done, I'll be able to take a look at all of your comments. I can see some of the comments coming in. I'm live streaming using my phone in my studio. Spring is starting to happen, and I have an example of a spring goddess who some say is the spring maiden. On this beautiful silk scarf that I got at Yuletide, it actually is a reproduction of art that was used for getting women the right to vote. Yes, this was from a women's suffrage poster from a bit more than 100 years ago. So all this month, March, is Women's History Month in the USA, and some people are celebrating it also in other parts of the world. One day that's coming up is next Monday. That is March 8th. This is not only celebrated as a day for remembering women and the quest for equality in the USA, but this is celebrated around the world. March 8th is International Women's Day. So I will be doing a series of podcasts in celebration of International Women's Day and Women's History Month. I start my series tonight with Goddess Circles and Women's History. Yes, I'm one of those second wave feminists turned third wave and continuing to wave feminists that's working for gender equality. And tonight I'm going to share some of my own direct experiences as well as some information about those of us that help decorate the halls of religion through the emergence of what's known as the goddess spirituality movement, goddess culture, goddessing, goddess crafting. A lot of different names are used to talk about this goddess spirit rising, this goddess emerging movement, not only of women, but people of all gender identifications and sexual orientations, cultures, nations, languages, faith traditions. It is an amazing rising up of those celebrating the divine in more universal terms, celebrating the goddess as great goddess, as particular goddesses, as goddess and goddesses. So I'd like to share with you something that I helped birth many years ago. It was part of the Goddess 2000 project, but I actually crafted this Goddess Energy Chant Dance, a short ritual that you can join in with should you be in a space to do so. If you're watching live or if you're watching later, this is something that you can incorporate into your own celebration of Women's History Month and attuning to the divine in great goddess forms. So you raise your hands up and you connect with the goddess as the goddess of the universe, the goddess above you, and feel that power flowing down into you as you honor the goddess above you. And then as you put your hands down to the ground, you connect with the goddess that's in planet Earth, our home, and honor her, and then feel the power coming up through you from the goddess below you. The goddess is before you. Well, the goddess is all that is. For many of us who practice goddess spirituality And yes, the goddess is in all of nature, all of life before you. Honor that as you chant and move your hands before you. The goddess is before you. And then as you put your hands behind you, yes, I've got a goddess image right behind me, recognize that the goddess also has your back. And you honor the goddess behind you and draw that power in. Then you honor that the goddess is all around you. And this is fun because you get to move your hands around at this point. And then you move your hands and hold them on your heart. If that works for you, I usually do heart. But if you really feel you need an extra dose of goddess power, go down to your solar plexus around your belly button area. The goddess is within us. So you feel the goddess as immanent, within, indwelling. And then you touch your belly again and you feel the goddess power within you resonating even more, and you feel yourself starting to glow with the goddess. The goddess is within us. And then as you move your hands out, the goddess is all around us. You just add your own force to that larger connection of the divine that is all around you. So I call this spiritual aerobics. It's a way of connecting with the divine and moving your body, focusing your attention, and having a good time. Religion should be something that feeds your soul, gives you direction, helps with healing, but I'm of that path that says it should be enjoyable and fun, not a drudge. So if you want to join me, the goddess is above us, the goddess is below us, the goddess is before us, the goddess is behind us, the goddess is around us, the goddess is within us, the goddess is within us, the goddess is around us, the goddess is above us, the goddess is below us, the goddess is before us, the goddess is behind us, the goddess is around us, the goddess is within us, the goddess is within us, the goddess is around us. So you can use that form of it. Or if you are primarily a solitary practitioner, I say primary because those who take part in live streams and online Zooms and other things, well, you're actually in community there as well. But you can personalize it for individual practice, and you can slow the pace down and make it more meditative if you prefer. The goddess is above me. The goddess is below me. The goddess is before me. The goddess is behind me. The goddess is around me. The goddess is within me. The goddess is within me. The goddess is around me. And for those who prefer not to sing, but speak or whisper, depending on your circumstances, the goddess is above me. The goddess is below me. The goddess is before me. The goddess is behind me. The goddess is around me. The goddess is within me. The goddess is within me. The goddess is around me. So I wish you all goddess blessings, the great goddess that is all that is, the great goddess, also known as Bona Dea, that's Latin for the good goddess, the great goddess that's sometimes known as Pandea, all goddess, the great goddess that is beyond human intellectual understanding. Mystical attunement is a way to connect with her. So we honor the goddess as one, but we also, tonight on my podcast, Goddess Circles and Women's History, will be taking a look at working with specific goddesses and a multicultural pantheon, working as individuals and with groups of all women and groups with all genders. We'll take a look at how goddess circles have made women's history, not only in recent years, but back into the 20th century, as the goddess spirituality movement really started gathering momentum. And we'll take a look at some of the goddess images from the ancient past. I have one around my neck. She's sometimes known as the Willendorf goddess. And I have some earrings on. This is a form of all goddess known as Aset. Most people know her as Isis. So we're going to take a look at some ancient goddess forms and how they have been worked with as a way of moving the quest for equality for all ahead. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you'll join me tonight on my Goddess Circles and Women's History. Join me next Sunday on Nature Mystic. That's my other nature-based podcast, because there will be a replay of something that I've done for International Women's Day in the past. A colleague and sister priestess friend, Phyllis Carrot, and I will talk about International Women's Day and goddess power. And then on Monday night, on International Women's Day, Laura Gonzalez, the Circle Sanctuary minister and a podcast sister, and I are going to celebrate International Women's Day in a global, multilingual, interreligious, multicultural, time-traveling way. So tune in to Lunatic Mondays. That is Laura's podcast. She does some of the podcasts in English and some in Spanish. And then next Wednesday, I will share some true tales from my priestess journey experience over the last 50 years. Yes, in 2021 in the spring and throughout this year, I'm celebrating doing pagan priestess work as part of my contributions in this lifetime. For it was in the spring in 1971 that I invoked the goddess in public ritual for the first time. So I'll talk about that next week. You can find out all about these and the other podcasts that we're doing at circlesanctuary.org. That's the Circle Sanctuary website. Look under CSNP. That's the name of our internet radio network with all our podcasts, Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts. Or since you're on Facebook, you might as well go over and like and follow CSN Podcast. Laura maintains that page for our internet radio network, and you'll find out more about all of our podcasts this month there. And I also invite you to find wonderful ways to learn about the goddess, regardless of what your own spiritual tradition or philosophy or religion is. Learn about goddess spirituality, about the divine feminine, and how this is an important part of the quest for equality, democracy, liberty, and justice for all. Goddess blessings. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, may you be safe, may you be well, and may you celebrate nature. Bright blessings.